Hi, everybody. Well, 2027 is coming around. I know. Don, it's not even 2026 yet. Yes, but when you're looking at cruises, you have to be looking far out. And I'm looking at 2027. And I'm looking at setting up some group cruises. And I would like your suggestions. So that's right. 2027 is coming around, and I already have group cruises set up for 2026. Even a Christmas market river cruise is set up for 2026. Pretty much sold out, folks. Sorry, it went so fast because I'm not allowed to take the whole ship. Because I was only given a certain allotment of ships. I announced it, and within a week, they were gone. 2 different cruises, both gone. How fast was that? Pretty crazy. But yeah, we also have the Mediterranean next year, back-to-back Mediterranean cruise to 2 different areas, all on the Enchanted Princess. So looking really forward to next year, and maybe even throw one more in there in the future. I'll let you know that at a future date. I'm trying to figure that one out, but I'm looking at 2027. And every year I like to do something a little different, right? One year we went to the Med, like next year. One year we'll go to Alaska, right? One year we went up into Cabo, up into that area. One year we just go around the Caribbean. It all depends on the itinerary. I like to do at least one different itinerary and one close to home, shall we say, close to North America. So I'm really curious to see how many people would want to do which type of cruise, and even if you would like to try a different cruise line. I normally set up Princess Cruise Line because they're very easy to work with from a Canadian travel agent perspective. I don't have to worry about finding insurance. I can do it through the cruise line. I don't have to worry about trying to get on the website because I can see both Canadian and American clients on the websites. There's a lot of benefits to it. I also like Princess. They've always been good to our groups, and they always do a great job. So I'm very nervous about changing companies when one is working in a really good way. However, some people have said, hey, why don't you try Royal Caribbean? Why don't you try Norwegian Cruise Line? Why don't you try Virgin Cruise Line? And so I'm open to suggestions of, would people like to go on the Icon class ships? Or would people like to go on the new, like the Aqua coming out with Norwegian? One of those. Would you just like to try a Virgin Cruise Line ship? I'm open to suggestions, but how about a destination? Where would you like to go for a big cruise? So when I say big cruise, it means not normally out of North America. Do something, maybe a transatlantic. Now, if we did a transatlantic of some kind, it would come from Europe back to North America because it's a better cruise. You actually gain hours every day of your cruise as opposed to going the other way and losing hours every day, pretty much on your cruise. We could go to Greenland and Iceland. We could do a cruise like that. We could do a cruise up in the Fiji area or Hawaii, go in that direction if we wanted to. We could go to Australia and go into New Zealand. Those are great cruises. Had a great time when I did that with Tony, and we just had an amazing time, even though we were hiding from a storm at the time, big typhoon in the area, but we still had an amazing cruise. And there's also Asia. One of my favorite cruises I've ever been on is my Japan cruise. I had an amazing, amazing time, and that's just some of the areas. Some people have suggested to me a cruise out of Dubai and do in that area. Some people have said, hey, you liked Africa so much, why not take a cruise out of Cape Town? Cape Town is actually in that area getting more and more popular for cruising, where you can kind of combine cruising with visiting the nature and the wild reserves of Africa. So that might be an interesting, cruise as well. And then there's other types of groups to get together. Would anybody be interested in doing a cruise like I just did on the Amma Magna? Doing a cruise on the Rhine or the Danube? Doing, say, a 7 or a 10-day cruise on a river cruise where we get like 40 cabins of us or possibly a whole ship. Summer is a lot cheaper than the Christmas markets, so we might be able to do something like that. And just almost have the whole ship to ourselves. That would be kind of amazing. That takes a lot of planning and a lot of money up front. So I would need commitments from people saying, yes, we're going to do it. Here's our deposit, etc. Because I have to put up like 50 grand of my own money to reserve a ship or more. So that's a long shot one right there, but it's an idea. If somebody would love to do like a September river cruise like I just did. The weather was great. The weather was terrific. It was, the end of August, beginning of September. We had great time. So that's one idea that I put up. People have said, hey, Don, you went on safari and you loved it. Yes, I did. I absolutely loved my safari. I would do this again in a heartbeat. I'm a big nature guy. I loved the camp. I thought the service was great. I went all out. I didn't have to go all out. The other tents enjoyed the exact same experience I did, even without the budget that I had to put forward for it. And people said, hey, well, why don't you do a group to Africa and do a safari? Well, again, that's a lot of negotiating because, you want to get a date set up way ahead of time because there's only 8 tents that hold 2 people, and then 1 tent that holds 4 people, like it's 2 bedrooms, holds 4 people, and another tent that holds 2 more. So we're talking 22 people for the group. That's all that would be able to go at that time. 22 people. And so, yeah, I would have to try and reserve that whole camp for that whole section of time. And so again, we'd have to put up the money up front. It's expensive, not as bad as I had to pay, by no means, unless you're going to be in the suite. But normal tents are much better. But it was an amazing time. If you've never done it and you've always wondered what it's like, it was absolutely stunning to me. Breathtaking. The service was amazing. The food was terrific. The guides were great. Just had a marvelous time. So those are just some ideas off the top of my head. And so I'm wondering, leave some comments down below. Where would you guys like to go? Is there a cruise line you think I should try? Or is Princess been really good? I haven't had too many complaints of people on my Princess cruises at all. They seem to be enjoying themselves. The main dining's been good. They've loved the entertainment. They love the cruise directors. They love the service of the staff. They love the promotion of Princess Plus and Princess Premier because it's all in one and all inclusive. So easy. Or would you like to try another cruise line, the big mega ships, Virgin Cruise Lines? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm very curious as I'm looking around to plan 2027 as we speak.